Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's Fireside Chat. I am Michael Simpson, the operating partner here in Long Beach, California with Keller Williams Coastal Properties. I thought what I would do today is share with you some of the differences in the models that are out there. And since I, as an agent, have been with all three different models, dependent, the interdependent, the independent, and the interdependent models, I kind of have personal experience with the different models and wanted to share with you my perspective, my point of view of these different models. Now keep in mind that this is Michael's point of view. This is not Keller Williams International, Gary Keller and Mark Willis and Mo and Mary explaining how this all came together. This is my perspective. So if I miss it or don't get it quite exact, Gary, please cut me some slack there, if you will. It's just my perspective. The other thing I want to say about that is that as I show you these different models, I'm not showing you the different models to put any of them down by any means. Again, I've been in all three of them. I think there's a certain time and place for everybody to be in a certain model in particular time in their career. So I'm not putting any of them down, okay? I just wanted to go through them with you real quickly today. So here we go. The first one is the dependent model. The dependent models are the companies, the Century 21s, the First Team for us local folks, the Mulherns, Prudentials, Coldwell Bankers. These models are typically dependent models, meaning that the associate is dependent on the company and that the associates are replaceable. That's kind of the mentality, and I'll come back to that in a minute. They're typically traditional real estate companies, and what I mean by that is they've been around for a long time, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. They're usually a little broker focused, meaning that the decisions are typically made first and foremost for what's best for the brokerage firm versus the agent. We're going to come back to that. A little more controlling of the associates, a little more training going on in that environment, in those environments, meaning new agent training, contracts, counters, disclosures, things like that. Their broker brand strategies, which I'll come back to that because these three kind of tie together. The associates typically overpay management a little bit for what they get, meaning that it's low take, meaning that the commission splits are a little higher to the company and a little bit lower to the agent in these models. They're lower risk though, meaning that there's no monthly fees, and for the most part in most of those models, so if you don't list and sell anything, let's say you're brand new and it takes a little while to get going, you may not have any fees that you get hit with in that model, and so therefore there's not a lot of risk. When we talk about the broker focused and the broker brand strategies, if you go to the next slide there, this is what I'm talking about. See at the top here, what I was taught when I first started, I started in that dependent model. And what they taught me was, Michael, go out, make a flyer, put the company name on the top, put your name and phone number underneath it, go out, pass these flyers out over and over and over again to the same area, and then they'll start to call you. You'll start to get business for listings and referrals out of that farm, which is now, is farming. Well, when I was at that model, I was fortunate enough to be mentored by the #1 agent in the company, and she saw me doing this, and she said, Michael, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm doing what the company's teaching me to do, the broker brand strategies. And she said, no, you've got it all wrong. What you want to do is you want to market yourself first and foremost, Michael. So you want to put yourself, big name, your name up here big and bold, and the company's underneath it, real small. Because, Michael, you're the reason that they're doing business with you. You see, if you do a bad job for a customer, Michael, are they ever going to come back and do business with you again? I said, no, that absolutely is the case. They're not going to come back and say, well, the company did a bad job. They're going to come back and say, you did a bad job as the agent. So when you do a great job and you provide great service for your customers, it's because of you. You're the reason that they're doing business with you. So that's what I mean when I talk about broker brand strategies, is that some of those models are teaching that way. So let's go to that next slide real quick. You also have the independent models. The independent models are, there's a lot of them out there, your RE/MAXs, Main Streets, all California brokerage firms. These are typically, associates are independent. Associates have a landlord-tenant relationship with their company. They're typically the 100% real estate companies, although they're kind of now more like 94%, 93% since this slide came out, because the markets have shifted and changed a little bit. They're a little bit more associate focused though, so instead of the broker brand and strategies, they do teach that you should focus a little bit more on yourself and brand yourself as an agent a little bit more than the company. That's what I'm talking about here with the associate brand strategies. These models give your rebellious associates their freedom, and what that means is, for example, I always like to just kind of use myself. When I went from my first company to my second company, I had some training underneath my belt. I had a good track record. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew how to do it pretty much. I just wanted to kind of be left alone and wanted to go do my own thing, close the door, list and sell, and crank it out. And that's what I mean when I talk about the rebellious associate that just kind of wants their freedom. That's typically what you have in those models. Associates don't pay for things that they don't use, so copies, phone, long distance, things like that, they typically don't pay for those unless you use them. It's high risk, high take, meaning that if you don't list and sell because it's that landlord-tenant relationship, you pay anyway, whether you sell or not. So that's what that means when it's typically high risk. But you do get to keep a little bit more of your commission, as we pointed out there. They're 94% up companies where you get to keep a little bit more of your commissions. What happened was in the late 80s. I'm just going to go really fast with this part. Gary Keller had an office in Austin, Texas. Bottom line is he went to some of his other agents. He lost some of his agents when a competitor came to town. Went to some of his existing agents and said, "Hey, what do I need to do to have this company that people will want to be at, and everybody will want to be at, and never want to leave?" And what the agent said to Gary was, "Look, you need 4 things in your company. You need to have a cap system, because it's not fair that I, as a top producer, just pay with no cap in the system. It has to stop. It should stop somewhere. I want to share the profits as I help you grow. Because Gary, you're telling me you want to have a really big company, and you want me to help you grow this company and have it be really big. Well, then it's only fair that I should have a share of those profits as I help you grow." And by the way, that's where the open book portion came in as well, because the agents also said, and if I'm going to help you grow the company and I'm going to have a share of those profits, I should be able to see your books and make sure that you're operating in a very high level so that we're as profitable as we can be. That's kind of where that came from. They also wanted training. The training that is not the new agent training that I spoke of earlier, but this high-level training, the buyer's agents, the listing specialists, all this type of training that just, frankly, was not available to us as agents unless we traveled out to some of the trainers that are out there. And then when we did that, we had to take time away from our family and time away from our business to get that training. We wanted it. We agents want this training in-house for zero cost or for low cost, Gary. That's the other thing that you have to put in place. The other thing I want to have in place, Gary, again, this is agents telling Gary what they wanted, and thank God he listened, is a say in the way the decisions are made. So we actually turn over our decision-making process to our top producers in our offices in this model. Those are the 4 things that the agent said they had to have in place in order for it to be what you're looking for, Gary. Also, by the way, Gary, you as the owner deserve a couple things. You should have a return on your investment, and you should also have a profitable company. Otherwise, why be in business? So with these ideas in mind, the interdependent model, go back to that other, interdependent model was put in place. Now, the interdependent models, the associates have an interdependent relationship with their company. The associates are business partners. They're business partners. When associates are developed to the highest level, the company develops to the highest level. So it's focusing on that agent first and foremost to get them to develop at the highest level, and then pushes the company up right along with it. Associate and broker focused. Empower the associates. Empower, we've been using that word a lot. Empower the associates. Associate and company brand strategies. The associates pay a reasonable fee for what they get, and it's low risk and it's high take. So what they did is they took the best of both worlds and they blended them into this interdependent model. What I want to do is I want to challenge the status quo. I want to challenge, no offense, Gary, I want to challenge the Keller-Williams model and say, how can we be better at it? How can we make it better, even more better? How can I, as an owner, pile on more tools for you as an agent? How can I pile on more value that you can give to your client? See, if we can help you do more in less time, then you can do more transactions. If we can help you provide more value to your clients than anybody else out there, then you're going to get more referrals from your clients. So, I hope you'll join me in creating something special. That's what I'm really getting at here, is I want to take this model and I want to plus it 10 times and then some. And I want to constantly make it better and better and better and better and better, and just provide more value and create something special. This electric environment that we've been talking about, where people are empowered to achieve their personal and their business goals. And it may not exist right now anywhere for that matter, But with your help, together, we can turn dreams into reality. Thanks for watching. See you next week.